playoffs, bottom two don't. I think most people probably have Dignitas, Disguised, and Shopify in the bottom three, right? So that means that if you can take down one of these top teams, that's going to give you a market edge over the other competition that's down there in danger of not making playoffs.
It's absolutely true. And I ran into Srtty in the hallway when I was walking back, and I was like, "Wow, you got some confidence not flashing in mid lane, you know, dodging the Tempered Fate and the Binding." He's like, "Yeah, that's why you take the move speed chart." And so he was saying, you know, he was playing.
Wait, Srtty or Sajed?
Oh, excuse me, Sajed. Did I say Srtty? Yeah, Sajed. And so he was saying that, you know, he's taking the extra move speed, and he was crediting that with being able to sidestep it. So definitely have
how close it was.
It was very close. The Tempered Fate looked like it was touching his character more.
Exactly. So if he loses the 3% or whatever move speed is on that shard, maybe you're too close.
Yeah.
Maybe he's unironically cooking right now.
I'm like, respect. If that's legit, what gave you the confidence to not flash and you were correct?
Hey,
respect.
Well played. Well played to you.
All right. Well played.
Our definitive game now, though. C9 have elected last pick. DSG are playing from blue side. Akali, Camille, Ambessa banned out by DSG. They don't want to deal with divers. Over on the C9 side, it's Jace, Nocturne, and Syndra on the ban list, as Viktor was the first pick here for Disguise. Going to put that one into the bottom lane most likely. C9's response, power duo bottom lane. Caitlyn, Karma. Be prepared to be making out with your turret if you're laning against this. You are not getting away from that thing.
Yeah, it is definitely a difficult duo to lane into. But that being said, once Viktor gets some levels, once Viktor gets Lost Chapter, he's going to be killing minions, and it's going to make it a lot more difficult for Caitlyn to actually do what Caitlyn does, which is access that tower, farm plates, and accelerate the game. I will also say the blind Cassante here for Srtty is a pretty big step away from, I think, you know, what has gotten success for DSG, even in the games that they were actually creating advantages. I think back to his Abessa, I think to the Bane this game. So I do find it a little bit surprising that after you take a game where he gets counter pick and he gets range top, you go the polar opposite of blind pick tank. And this Poppy could go both jungle or even top, because it's a pretty good matchup against Cassante as well, because once you hit Pathmaker, you can't cancel Pathmaker. So Poppy presses W, you are getting stunned as you come out of that. It's just happening.
Right, exactly. Pathmaker prevents CC while it's charging. As soon as he dashes, he's no longer... He's now doing the path, not the maker part.
Exactly.
So,
you're unstoppable while you are making, not while you are pathing.
Not while you are pathing.
Yes.
Correct. There's a critical divide here in the middle of the word. But I really do like the Poppy against Rell as well, because Rell's crash down is so slow. If Poppy's got steadfast presence, it's so easy to stop Rell from doing the type of engages that can normally result in a lot of success. So I really love the Poppy pick here from the C9 side. Second half of the draft starting up now, though, as Jhin is banned out by C9, and it's Lock removed again by DSG.
Wow. So I wonder if this is going to be a jungle Poppy then, and if that is a matchup that Blaber is just looking to avoid. KryRa did bring out the Nefiri, but Kha'Zix is obviously a little bit further as far as, down that tier list. You know, we do see Kha'Zix from time to time, but as far as pro play is concerned, only 2 picks so far this split really globally. So it is not a popular one. Must be something that they are seeing in scrims. Locke as well as Yone going to get banned out. So 2 of these really powerful playmaking mid laners there that are available for Loki. And with this Aatrox, if it does get locked in, we are then 90% chance saying that is going to be a top lane Aatrox, and that would be a jungle Poppy. Though, of course, there is still the possibility they can go both ways, but that is kind of what I would be betting on.
Okay, so we'll see how those two want to shape up. We are expecting, of course, last pick of the draft to be the mid lane here for C9. They want all possible information from the disguised composition before they decide on Loki's pick. You already mentioned back in game number 1's draft how Kai'Sa has become more of a meta staple these days, much more popular pick. Disguise is going to hover that for a while, but they ultimately don't lock it in, instead opting for the Trundle, something like Poppy that has so much resistances. Subjugate feels great for Trundle to use. Plus, since none of Trundle's power budget for his kit is in any sort of mobility or dashing, Poppy doesn't get any value out of the steadfast presence. Final pick for DSG, Anivia.
There you go. Can't stop my dashes. I'm just going to walk quickly.
Easy.
The name of the game for Trundle.
Ain't skipping leg day.
Exactly.
He's walking.
It's just like he's a speed walker, you know?
Yeah.
He's got the helmet on and everything. He's ready to go.
Yep, always got to have at least one
foot on the ground,
firmly planted.
1 foot on the ground.
No cheating the rules. I remember that episode of Malcolm in the Middle. As Sylas is the final pick of the draft here for C9. So looking at what he has to steal away, you've got Magnet Storms, you got Arcane Storms, you got Glacial Storms, you got 3 different kinds of storms for Sylas to steal out. Plus the Subjugate helps make him a lot more difficult to kill.
Yeah, and I mean, you can subjugate the Cassante, right? So that is going to be quite nice. Is if you can steal that away and then subjugate onto Srtty before he goes all out, you know, that can be potentially pretty strong.
Or, okay, stay with me here.
Subjugate the subjugated Trundle.
Right. Trundle subjugates Poppy and steals a bunch of Poppy stats. But then you subjugate Trundle and steal Poppy's stats. So now you're stealing from your own teammate, which is all of us have wanted to do at some point or another while playing ladder games. So he's really just living his best League of Legends life.
Yep. So if Blaber comes and takes a cannon or, you know, takes a kill, you're getting it back.
Yeah.
One way or another.
I'm getting that gold.
Exactly. I will be taking that gold from you. That being said, a lot of the other ults kind of suck. For
the Storm? You're not down with the Storms? Magnet, Glacial,
the Glacial
Arcane?
Storm feels not that good. I think Magnet Storm is okay. Magnet Storm can kind of create some chaos, and, you know, I just feel like Magnet Storm is more about the setup for the Shattering Strike and for the Crashdown and for all these tools than it is about the initial use itself. The Viktor ult is always fine, but there's nothing in this game that makes me go, wow, this is a good Sylas game, right? There's no Ahri, there's no Alistar, there's no, you know, super powerful tool, I think, that you have to be really, really afraid of on the other side. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. I mean, I don't think they're horrible by any means. They're just like fine AoE ultimates for a team fight. But Subjugate is going to be the interesting one to see if he can get that and get some really good value.
All right. Also want to see how Tactical and Vulcan do with laying on the early oppressive laning here with the Caitlyn and the Karma combo. You and I were talking even after the previous game ended. Tactical was having an awesome individual performance in game number 2, even if C9 does end up ultimately losing the game as a team. So I feel like he's pretty warmed up. He's locked and loaded here for this third one.
He absolutely is.
Ooh, Lyonz even tries to go in for the crash down, but Tactical's got the confidence just to step back away from it as Lyonz loses over half his HP walking back from that.
Yeah, that is pretty tough. And Lyonz, we'll see if he actually completes this recall and goes back to base. He lost his heal there, lost the bot, and now has to recall as well. So that is a really bad start. A lot of times in these matchups as Rell, when you are getting pushed in, what you actually do is you save the crash down to just be able to actually have that HP shield to just Targon's execute minions, right? To just absorb poke. And when you use it aggressively like that and it does not work out, you are going to get pummeled. I mean, Karma and Caitlyn are going to stand between you and the minions at level 1s you can't even approach, and then lost a lot of health there. So sajed, sure, there's a lot of minions to actually be able to farm up as they push in, but has not really had access to any of them. And not all the minions are going to walk in at perfect health points where you can actually farm them under your tower. You are going to be losing minions here. So this is a bit tough already for DSG. And you saw on the side of your screen there, Tactical career 11-2 on Caitlyn and has not lost a game with a pick since 2020. Now, granted, most of his time since then has been spent in the Tier 2 ecosystem. You're not going to have the same level of opponents in there, but still, not having lost on a champ for 6 years feels pretty good in this Game 3. Yeah, no kidding. That is very impressive stuff there from Tactical. He has also used both his potions, though. sajed obviously taking the worst end of these trades, but has been getting some lasers back onto Tactical to try to slowly whittle him down. And Loki has just been going for these aggressive trades, but Callme is handling this really well. Yeah, sidestepping the abduct there at the very end too. Hits him with another Frostbite. But considering Callme is almost out of mana, even though Flash Frost comes back up now, he doesn't really have a lot of resources to work with, so everything's just going to fizzle out. Yeah, Callme has just been kind of anticipating as Loki is dashing in. He's always catching him with the stun, and Srtty actually taking a nice trade here. Yeah, Srtty's doing a good job against Thanatos. Jumping forward again with another Intofo strike. Thanatos does heal up with the Deathbringer stance. Important to note here as well that Srtty on the tank has gone for the more scaling option with the Doran's Helm, whereas Thanatos wanting the Doran's Shield just for that extra laning power, the extra healing that'll come in from the frequent small trades these two are going to do. Yeah, exactly. And Cassante gets a lot of value out of that Doran's Helm, and so pretty standard stuff from him there. But he's doing really well in this 1v1, and this was, you know, the counter pick that was available for Thanatos, and he is now down 2 full waves. There is still minions to farm, of course, but he is pretty low, so he's not going to be guaranteed to get all of those minions by any means. This matchup does start to get a lot better for the Aatrox. You know, as you get some levels, the Q cooldown goes down, your sustain kind of continues to go up, and it can become very difficult for tanks to actually have enough damage to really threaten you. But that being said, on first reset, plus 8 CS is really nice for Srtty.
Yeah, Srtty's more than happy with this, I would have to feel like. We posed the question a little bit back in the draft of, will this work out considering Srtty's blind picking tank versus going for counter pick and matchup dominance? So far, it looks like he's getting a little bit of both. So as long as the team is playing well around him, if he manages to build a lead again, once more, that was just the huge difference in game number 2. When they were struggling, Srtty wasn't there for the proper setup for the fights. When they were popping off, it's because Srtty was able to play the way he needed to in those bigger engages.
Exactly, and my question is, you know, less about like, oh, can he survive lane or whatever. I mean, he's been great. This Thanatos is considered the best laning top laner in our league, and to be able to blind pick and be winning lane, even if it is just early, is still really, really nice. But yeah, the question is, how will they do in the team fights with Srtty not on a carry? Who's going to be able to actually step up and try to be that difference maker? And in this game, it's going to be up to Callme and sajed. Everyone else is just kind of there to defend them, to set them up. So it is really up to these double AP carries here to try to get something done and to be that X factor. So we're going to be looking at sajed and Callme to see if they can try to get this one across the finish line in some of these team fights. But that job is, of course, going to be a lot harder when you look at sajed. He's down 18 CS in that 2v2. Is going to be made a little bit better, but it's a tough start.
Yeah, and that tough start for DSG's bottom side means a good start for the C9 bot lane duo. You could see that with the advantage, with the control they had, it was very easy to just walk up there, join Blaber from another very early first Drake take. Not even 5.5 minutes into the game, and they've got that first neutral objective secured. And Tactical and Vulcan are right back in position, shoving the wave bottom side. Now, KryRa is down here. He does throw the control ward into the tri-brush, sees the Cloud9 vision there, so C9 are aware someone is lurking.
Yeah, and I mean, he was sitting by that tower for a while. I want to actually go back and check on Cloud9 vision if they ever saw him. They did. Yeah, he just completely misjudged it. He was just standing in vision there when he was on the tower. So
they already knew before the war.
Because I saw a ping, and I was thinking, okay, it's possible that they're saying he could be here, but I wanted to see if they actually saw him, and they definitely saw him. So he walked straight into vision there, did get spotted. And of course, as a result, C9 is not going to move forward and expose himself to any sort of Q flash from Lyonz to set up an engage or anything like that. So a little bit of time spent by KryRa, and you can see as a result, Blaber is ahead as far as the farm is concerned, but not really the biggest deal.
Yeah, Blaber on that Poppy. Still, again, want to see huge value out of the Steadfast Presence and the Keeper's Verdict. That's pretty much, that is the essence of Poppy, right? How many dashes can you stop? How big of an ejection can you get in the middle of the team fight that can skew things your way for a few seconds?
And that being said, I will say, when you complete the Sundered Sky, your first item, you actually do a lot of damage, right? So
bit of a scrapper, yeah.
It is a lot about, as you're talking about those X factors, especially as you get later on into the game. But when you first complete your Sundered Sky, if you flash, stun someone to the wall, and full combo them, they can lose like 70-80% of their health, right? Like just from the Poppy. Yeah. And so any additional damage that comes through, you can get 100-0 play on someone like sajed, on someone like Callme, if they are mispositioned very easily.
And that deceptive Poppy damage is one reason why I like seeing the Trundle as the answer to it, because although Poppy can kind of catch a lot of junglers off guard, it's a lot harder to do to Trundle, who kind of just outduels almost everybody because he is a ball of stats. But yeah, level 7 on Blaber, level 6.5 here for KryRa, but still no kills on the board for either side. We do have the Void Grubs spawning here in a couple of seconds. This has been a point of conflict in both of the previous games. Remember that DSG won the Void Grub 3v3 in the previous game with a 2-0 final outcome, but it was C9 who still took the objective because DSG was not able to reset and get a favorable map state in time. This time around, nobody is rushing straight to the Grubs. Instead, we are just going to get sajed TPing back down into the bottom lane, immediately steps on a trap with a Peacemaker into a headshot to knock off a quarter HP, but he's got that lost chapter. This is what you pointed out back in the draft. Once he's got the chapter, once he's got some levels, he can start clearing out the waves and suffering a little bit less.
He can, but I've also got to be somewhat critical of Lyonz. I just feel like I mean, right from the level 1, his crashdown was so bad and cost him a lot. And then right there, he's just strafing. Sajed's not even there, so I don't even think you really have to take position to threaten that you're going to go all in. He's just strafing while they're auto-attacking him. He lost 60% of his health just standing there getting auto-attacked. They're not scared of you jumping on them while Sajed is TPing back in, right? It's not like you're level 6 and you can one-shot the wave. So he just lost so much health for free. And I feel like the level 1 was pretty misplayed, and then you know, watching that, like, yeah, you can't just stand super far back and never be in range of poke because you have to have some threat, take some space for your AP carry, but that just looked rough to me.
Now Blaber with the slam into the wall on KryRa, who flashes away from the potential follow-up there with the abduct. KryRa taking the blast cone, getting himself away as C9 tries to collapse with both solo laners, Loki and Thanatos, rotating over to try to help Blaber make the catch. Would guarantee the grubs if you kill the enemy jungler there. They aren't going to get that kill. KryRa, however, is sent packing. No flash, no ulti. C9 does have one grub already secured. Blaber moving in, goes for the tackle after Callme forces flash out of the DSG mid laner as well.
That is really nicely done there from Blaber. Sets up the aggressive play, you know, is outpacing KryRa a little bit for now. And is able to trade flashes there with the threat of his soul laners coming in, then gets the flash there off of Anivia as well. And heading back down towards bot side to continue farming up. The nice thing, too, for Tactical is not only is he creating this really big advantage in that 2v2, you know, nearly 30 CS up at this point, but he's doing it with a call. So when he gets that cash out, it's going to be even sweeter. Has a nearly 1,000 gold lead at this point, and that call is only a handful of waves away, and then he will be extending that lead that much further. And the Caitlyn definitely getting more done in the 2v2 than I expected. I thought it would look bad in the first, you know, handful of levels, but I feel like that disadvantage was made to be a lot worse thanks to what I see as some misplays from Lyonz.
Well, C9 will still be happy about it, that's for sure. Tactical and Vulcan just continuing to build that lead. Ace in the hole just uses an aggressive trading tool every time they've got the chance. You're saying, okay, Lyonz is over clearing a ward. He won't be able to block the bullet. We're just going to make sure that we deliver that directly into the health bar of Sajed. We're delivering Dardoch directly back into the LCS tomorrow, so don't miss that. It's not a typo on your screen. Dardoch versus Armeo in the year of our Lord 2026. We're bringing it back, time machine style. But we still have to get there, and we still have plenty of game to play today before we do. Sundered Sky completed. MasterCard power spike there for Blaber's Poppy. You were already talking about this a little bit earlier. All of a sudden, this supportive, facilitatory team player, rah-rah go team type of champion is about to apply hammers to jawline.
Yep, you can get a lot of damage done, and this time it was just that 2-for-1 grub trade. And Blaber, of course, has a cheaper item, so he's going to have that done faster than KryRa will complete his. And he's looking for Callme, who has no flash.
Yep, the Anivia already had to use the summoner spell earlier, but since KryRa is here, he's decided he wants to try to take some of this fight. Here's your Crystallize to try to block off Blaber's escape, but they will not get any kills here. So Blaber just going to walk this one away. Loki doing the same. The Keeper's Verdict, yeeting KryRa out of the fight, so DSG could not get a kill.
Exactly. It's a trade of ultimates there for the junglers, and Blaber, haven't touched on it, but he is, of course, playing Storm Raider Surge. Move speed, very powerful against Trundle, who is pretty much entirely reliant on slows. You know, he moves fast, he slows you down with the pillar, with the chomp. And so you go in, you combo, you proc the Storm Raider Surge, and then Poppy is not an auto-attacker. You're not doing anything after you spend your spells, so it's time to get out of dodge.
And I think that fits in really well with what you were talking about, the champions, deceptive damage, because when they removed Phase Rush and replaced it with Storm Raiders, and it's essentially the same thing, but now you actually have to do meaningful damage instead of just puking some useless spell on them for 45. Yep. Poppy's one of the champions that can still get pretty much the same effect because you're going to get that initial burst that you're talking about. So Poppy never really lost the rune, whereas a lot of champions feel like, yeah, I can't play this anymore.
Yep, exactly. It's made a lot more difficult for a ton of those champions. You can see now Tactical cashed out the call, completed his role quest as well, nearly 2,000 gold ahead now in what was just an isolated 2v2. So that is really tough stuff. Sajed, you know, I think was expecting that, you know, he would have been able to keep that matchup a little bit closer. Of course, if you can, you know, somehow slow him down at this point, you know, that's something, but this is definitely a tough look in that 2v2, even though it is a range support versus a melee support. You've got to get some pretty explosive engages here from Lyonz. to kind of make this worthwhile.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure on him. We put that pressure on him in game number 2 as well, but remember that after we did that, he did have a couple really nice taunt engages on his Shen in that second game. He's going to have even better ones here in game 3. He is the primary engage for DSG. In order for Srtty to do it, he's got to have a crazy angle with the all-out. In order for KryRa to do it, I mean, KryRa can't really do it. He just throws the stink pillar at them, right? Blaber, slam into the wall on Callme here, and there's half the HP from the Anivia as Loki steps forward, and Callme is just caught in the worst spot. There's no way to get away from this. They're going to get first blood, plus waste the resurrection on the Anivia. C9 are loving that.
We're going to show this replay because that's back-to-back games that Blaber is smurfing with his sweepers. Because he was sitting in that brush outside of River that he has pink. He swept over the wall. The reason he does it is because the blue buff was recently killed by KryRa, and he knows the Anivia is going to come down and grab that blue buff. So he pops the sweeper knowing Anivia is on the way over and spots him over the wall, then repositions into that tri-brush knowing that he is no longer in it, he's not going to be spotted, and then he's waiting there in that tri-brush when the Anivia walks back through, stuns him up, sets him up. So this is just beautiful stuff. He does get spotted on the way over, you know, so they had some inkling obviously that he was there. They should have known that he was around, but I think Callme feels like, okay, I'm pretty safe. Rell moved over, I'm getting covered. All right, he's not here. But because he got swept over the wall while he was on that pink, you can see Callme even expects that he's still on that pink. He's in that brush. He's like, I just walked through this. But he does not know that he was swept by Blaber, and then Blaber just avoids the vision there, gets in the right spot.
Oh, sorry, I took it. I got scared. I don't know why.
It's all right, Blaber. You're going to be forgiven for that one because I agree wholeheartedly, Azael. The setup for that, beautiful from Blaber. A game that had no kills until 14 minutes, and the first one feels like it's going a long way.
And we talked about this. Blaber, you know, you steal that from Loki. Loki's going to be getting it back because of the subjugation train.
The subjugation station. Yes,
exactly.
Sir. The train's got to make a couple of stops to get there, so we'll see.
KryRa's going to subjugate Blaber, and then Loki's going to subjugate KryRa, and he's going to take that gold back from Blaber.
Exactly. Loki's getting paid one way or the other. He is invested, as now DSG are investing in this Rift Herald take. The Scuttle Crab is already secured by C9 ahead of time. TP's coming in from the C9 side. Everybody's ready to fight here. Lyonz in the middle of everyone. Tactical getting locked up. Flashes back over the wall, staying alive for now. KryRa trying to escape. Thanatos ready with a flash. Q3. KryRa's already dead. Lyonz will follow. Loki takes him out with a stolen all-out. And C9, it's a 2-for-0 fight. They're going to earn themselves the Herald. They've already got 2 Drakes. The third Drake spawning in 15 seconds. They're 4,000 gold ahead. And DSG's hopes are turned to ash.
Yeah, this game is out of hand at this point. They have the teleport coming in from Aatrox, and look at how Blaber plays this. I mean, great, Lyonz goes in, but no one can follow up on that. How's anyone supposed to walk in? Loki is between sajed and the follow-up. The Anivia gets knocked out. The Trundle gets just burst down by the Poppy and the Aatrox, and it was an angle that Lyonz saw, but it's not one that his teammates could do anything about. And now 4,000 gold lead. We're almost on Soul Point, and it is Hex Tech Soul. Lyonz gonna go in behind him, but I just don't see the angle.
Yeah, it's looking pretty tough. Loki also stealing away the Subjugate, and there's Soul Point secured. Not even 17 minutes into the game. And they're up over 4,000 means that
dead too now.
Yeah, like 5 minutes from now, when you have to answer that fight in neutral territory around the Dragon Soul, if C9's up 5,000 gold at 22 minutes, what do you even do as Disguised?
Probably lose.
Probably
and then
lose.
say, hey, at least we got a game.
Yeah,
We're
at least
on
you
the
got a
board.
game. At least you're doing all right. At least you're perhaps one step closer to going to the Gas South Arena on October 3rd and 4th in Atlanta for the LCS Finals. Yes, sir. But that is still a long road for them to go to. They're not as blessed as you in the audience who can scan that QR code and get your tickets right now. The team's got to earn those tickets. They got to earn that spot. And for DSG, it's looking more and more difficult as the clock marches forward here in this third game against C9. I'm trying to look at the scoreboard. You've got one individual lane that is not behind. It's Srtty. He's up 100 gold. But then you look at the other side. Blaber's 1,500 ahead. Tactical 2K up over sajed on the Viktor. It's a straight vertical wall to have to climb.
Yeah, it is pretty brutal, not going to lie. And Srtty, he was blind picked as well, right? He's blind picked a tank, and he is winning out in that 1v1. it's a slight advantage, but he's played it really well. I mean, he's still have 10 CS at this point. It just doesn't feel like it matters at all. Blaber is miles ahead. Bot lane has been a disaster from the word go. And you just took that first team fight after losing all the objectives. You got destroyed in that team fight. And when you're already that far behind, it kind of feels like you really need to make it work, because Lyonz wasn't able to contribute anything in the 2v2. And so when you go for that flash engage, like, it's got to be perfect, right? You've got to be able to get something. They're going to look for Loki, but I don't even know if they have the damage.
I don't think they do with only the two of them, because of how powerful Kingslayer is with the Vamp, because of the fact that Loki, here in 5 seconds, will also be able to steal Subjugate. Again, I believe the timer will allow him to do it. You could see that Sajed was walking over thinking about maybe reinforcing, but instead he steps back, takes his recall. He does have his second fully completed item with the Liandry, so Sajed double burn ready to go. Callme also here in under 2 minutes is going to hit his 10-stack Rod of Ages power spike, so maybe just a glimmer of a glimpse of hope here for DSG, but it's still tough.
Yeah, it is really, really tough. And Blaber, because of all of that gold he has picked up, I mean, he's 40 CS ahead, he's gotten the kill. He already has a Kanik Rookern, right? And it is double AP carries. Sure, there is the Subjugate to make things a little bit easier, but this is still a ridiculously tanky Poppy at this point in the game to deal with. And Tactical has had his Hex Optics for a very long time. Now he has the IE, has a Crit Cloak on top. The Caitlyn is getting towards that 3-item power spike, where I always feel like Caitlyn just becomes a complete menace, and it gets really, really tough to deal with.
Okay, meanwhile, what else is tough to deal with? A Poppy constantly sitting in your jungle. Anytime somebody tries to walk through here, they get slammed into the wall, hit with the Hammer Shock. And now KryRa, he's slammed into the wall, hit with the Hammer Shock.
Minus FHP.
Yep, not feeling great about that one. Vulcan and Tactical stepping forward. Keeper's Verdict for the quick CC. And KryRa's not going anywhere. They can give the kill over to Tactical. Nice and easy. Abscond abduct with Loki stealing away the Magnet Storm. Trying to find something else on the back end of this. Sajed loses a chunk. He loses his flash. He stays alive for now, but it's 20 minutes on the clock. The enemy jungler is dead for 20 seconds. So Baron is alive. C9 is going to secure this topside Scuttle Crab. They aren't going to pressure towards the Baron itself just yet. You know, 2026 Baron, it's not worth a whole lot. It's not worth potentially throwing the game for. So instead, just going to keep pressure on the lanes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could go for Baron, and I think they would probably get it, but it's just not really worth it, because you're thinking about, how do we lose this game? And it's probably a Baron throw, right?
Yep.
You have Dragon Soul available in 1 minute. You should just be resetting, getting vision around there. You can already see they have 4 or 5 wards in that area in enemy jungle, as well as in the river. And DSG have got to get out there and reclaim some of this space, because if C9 get there with the 6,000 gold lead, set up their trap line, and are there waiting for you to walk in, it is going to be such a long shot to be able to actually make a fight happen, and to even get in and deny this is going to be tough.
Okay, Blaber again with those sweepers, keeping track of who's nearby. Did see the silhouette in that enemy jungle. DSG, they know that they don't have any chance if they're not here first. Srtty's already clearing out some of the control wards. DSG wants to be ready to fight for this, but that's your jungler having to flash over the wall, drop the Subjugate defensively. KryRa healing up on the backside of the fight, but now Srtty and Lyonz are in the middle of everything. Lyonz has already lost 3/4 of his health as Srtty gets tackled. No collision with the wall means K'Sante is still alive for now. Gets back over the wall. Srtty staying alive, but in no condition to fight. And now the Dragon has been aggroed by C9. Loki going to interrupt the recall on Srtty's K'Sante. Callme stepping forward, trying to use the Crystallize to slow down C9. Tactical on the wrong side of the pillar, but he gets right back over with the 90 caliber net. Srtty dealing with Loki off to the side of the fight here at the same time. KryRa steps up. Objective bounty claimed by Sajed. C9 aren't going to get the soul, but DSG have already lost 2. Make it 3. Sajed and Callme trying to hobble out of the fight, but everybody except for Callme dies. 4 kills traded for the Dragon. C9 will take that one. Okay, for now, no problem. Make it 5 kills. The egg is wasted yet again. Ace for C9, and now they'll walk it over to Baron.
Yeah, 5 kills for the Dragon, and they're going to get Baron. They are just dominating this game at this point, and it feels like it is all falling apart here for DSG. I was even thinking further back in this replay where Srtty was trying to come around on a flank, and as he hits the Pathmaker, Callme walled him off, and he just gets the Pathmaker straight into the Anivia wall. And it felt like one of those moments where you're playing ARAM with your friends and they're trolling you with the wall. And that was a tough start to the fight. I mean, he lost most of his health when he was looking for this angle.
Nice, we got it, we got it, we got it.
Unfortunately, we got the worst objective.
We got the worst objective in the Baron. But no, I know what you're talking about, because for all the old heads out there was a video from back in like 2010, 2011 called McLaren Anivia on YouTube. A guy named McLaren just using walls on his own team, then acting confused when they were frustrated. One of the original League of Legends trolls. He's probably out there still somewhere. I have no idea what he's doing, but he's probably building Anivia walls. That is not the ideal way for a team fight to start. It's better than this, though, because Sajed already down here in the mid lane.
He's Sajed.
Sajed. He got hit in the head.
He's got to go to Sajed.
He's got to go to Sajed. His face is all Srtty. He's not having a good time. C9.
I could keep going, but I'm resisting. I'm a mature adult.
Okay.
I can stop any time. That time is now.
It's a good thing they didn't pick Sajed to death mark them with the shuriken above their head. Okay, that's a repeat.
We got to stop. We're going to be unemployed, buddy.
So
fired.
Yeah, we won't have any more street cred. But we got... Look, man,
this is not even a good joke.
It's a 10,000 gold lead. They've got Baron. This game is going nowhere. It's a 10-0. I'm trying to think of more Sajed name angles, because there's more of those than there are angles for DSG to come back into this game. Blaber goes for the slam onto Srtty as he tries to take the Hex Gate in here, find some sort of an angle against C9. Blaber finds another tackle right back in there. Blaber and Thanatos just whittling away at the health bar on the Cassante, while Vulcan and Tactical keep the waves crashing in bottom lane. Meanwhile, mid lane with the Enchanted Cannon minion does destroy the inhibitor turret first. C9 keeping most of the pressure down here in bottom side as Loki continues working towards that inhibitor over in mid lane. First target going to be KryRa. Thanatos moving closer towards his allied solo laner as Callme is shot down. No egg this time trying to protect him. Loki gets the kill onto Sajed. Loki getting away as DSG try to get one back onto the Sylas. All out from Srtty. He can't find the damage. They're too far behind. DSG's last stand is just a flicker in the night in the face of C9's 13,000 gold lead. They'll just march it straight on to the Nexus. Not even 26 minutes in, not a single kill for DSG. C9 stomps the third game and takes the series 2-1.
I mean, this was two absolute stomps. It was a 23-minute game and a 25-minute game, and then a super long turbo banger
in the middle,
where DSG won in the middle.